Now we're going to make a duplicate of our building and then just start changing components so we can get a little bit of a feeling for the idea of parametricism, the changing of values, coordinated changing of values, learn how to duplicate things, and learn how to evolve our design. And that's kind of the idea here. We start with one concept and we're just going to keep modifying it, going from what really looks like a residential building to something that finally ends up looking like a commercial building, like a storefront. So a little bit on the idea of copying now. If we go to level 1, and let's say we were going to make a copy of this, and so I'm going to draw, oops, I'm sorry, I just messed up my screen display. I'm going to, got on the wrong screen. I'm going to draw from left to right a box, and I've selected what looks like the whole building. But in fact, if I go to the south elevation, you'll notice it's not catching the roof. So the best way to make a duplicate is to make sure you're in an elevation view. An elevation view is like a front view. In this case, that's south view. In this case, I'm going to draw again. And I'm going to remind you that if you draw from right to left, you're going to catch elements you may not want to duplicate. So once again, going from left to right, I've grabbed the building and I'm going to duplicate it over. And I've chosen for this layout that if I duplicate these over 40 feet, I'll have spacing between them, but I'll also have enough. And excuse me, I made a mistake there while I was talking. I'm going to grab that building again. I'm going to grab, for the first time probably, I haven't introduced this tool. It's the copy tool. It's next to the move tool. I'm going to grab it and grab the peak of the building and then move over, moving right. And we're going to go over 40 feet. And like I said, this has been just planned out so that these will all fit when we're done. I'm just going to type in 40 and hit return. And there we have a duplicate. And we'll look at it from a 3D view. And we're going to make some changes to our roof. And so we're going to kind of work in 3D. You can work in all kinds of different modes or places to draw. And so I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to edit this roof by selecting it and then double clicking on it. And now, we're back to that pink line where we were picking the walls originally to make our roof. And I'm going to grab the back line and click it and hold down the control key and grab the front line. And these two I'm going to get rid of the pitch on. So these are going to become a gable-ended roof, as opposed to the first roof that we drew, which was hipped. That meant it had these kind of hips, these hips on all four sides. And the way I've done that is now I've selected those two lines. I'm going to unselect the define slope. And now when I click off, I now have a gable-ended roof. With some problems, the walls are not connected to the roof. And we'll fix that in a second. The next thing I want to do is change the pitch of the roof. I'm going to make it shallower. So it was set at 9 and 12. And I'm going to go ahead and select this and change it to 3 and 12. That means that it goes up 3 inches for every 12 inches it goes horizontally. And if I click apply, it goes down to a shallower pitch. Now I'm going to hold the center scroll button down, click the button down and the shift key so I can rotate a little bit here. And we'll work on getting this wall connected to the roof. So I've selected the wall. And you'll notice we're in that modify mode where we have that green tinge on things. And we have a tool that shows up attached top to base. If I stay on it long enough, we get a little icon showing you the idea that we're, the goal that we're after. And that's to get the wall attached to the roof. And then if I come and touch this roof, it will connect to it. Except that every time I hold it down too long, it won't work that way. So I have to do it again, grab the wall tool, click that button, and then catch the roof, and now we've got it connected. I'm going to hold down the shift key and the center scroll button and rotate around to the back so we can do the same thing. Select the wall, attach top to base, and click on it, and now we have that connected up to the top. Now we're going to change the sizes of our windows and doors, and the best place to illustrate that is in the south elevation here. So I'll just zoom in here a little bit. These doors, obviously these aren't the right doors and windows, and we're going to keep substituting these until we actually put a commercial door in. But I kind of want to keep moving until, I don't want to keep adding new commands while we're at the beginning of some simple ones. So bear with me a little bit. So we're going to take this interior door right now, and we're going to make it taller. A 7-foot high door for a commercial building is a bit shallow or low. And so to make it a grander type of entry, we're going to select that door, and we're going to use a new command now. We're going to use the edit type, which is right below any element. And this allows us to make a duplicate of that element. So in this case, I'm going to hit duplicate, and we get a chance to rename it. And I'm going to change this now. I'm going to add 2 feet to it. I'm going to make it a 9-foot door, and that'll make it 108. And just to show you that these numbers are not actually, in fact, changing any dimensions. It's just a term that we're using, the name. And I'll add a word to it, tall door, so you can see how this works. Okay, so now we have, it's still a single flush door, but it's still now called 36 by 108 tall door. But nothing has changed about this element. It looks exactly like the first door. And now this is where I make the physical changes, or the dimensional changes. You can see down here I have, I can change the width of the door and the height of it. And for this example, we're just going to change the height. We're going to change that to 9. I'm going to click OK, and now we have a 9-foot tall door. Now we'll go through that exactly the same way with a window, so we can see the same technique. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the window. I'm going to go under here and do Edit Type. And we want to change this now. This is a 4-foot high window that's 3 foot from the ground. That's sill height. That's the bottom of the window. So this is 7. So we want to add another 2 feet to it. So we're going to go from a 48-inch window to a 72 plus 12, 84-inch window. So I'm going to go duplicate, and I'm going to rename this again, and I'm going to make this now 84, and I'm going to make this tall window. Wando. We'll try an I in there. And once again, we made the new component, but we haven't changed its dimension. So now I'm going to change this to, actually I wanted to add 2 feet to it, 6 feet. I'm sorry. So that should be 72. I'm going to click apply so you can see that change. I don't know why. Oh, the height changed to 6. Something's wrong. I'm going to click OK. There it goes. And we know we have a little mistake there because I called it 7 feet, and I really meant to be. So I'm actually just going to show you how you can rename this. So we just change this to 72 inches. It can be any words you want in it, just as long as you have the right dimensions. So we're now set with a 6-foot window. I'm going to actually change this one because I think there's a problem with this. I'm going to select this one now. This window, it's originally the first one we put in, and you'll notice now we have this drop down. And now I can select that 72-inch tall window. And if we zoom in here, you'll see how it's not quite up to the top right. So there's a couple ways we can adjust that. We could actually change the sill height, but I'm just going to add like 3 inches to the height of the window. So I'm going to go to Edit Type, and I'm going to change this now to, let's say, 6 foot 3, and I'll rename this to 5. Just to show you how flexible these things are. And I'll click OK. And there we have one that looks like it's pretty closely aligned to the top of the door. So, this is just usually something that architects are really concerned with, this kind of alignment of these components. So we have these 2 other windows. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key and select all 3, or excuse me, the Control key and select all 3 of these. And once again, go to that window, go to the drop down and grab that. And now we have aligned all of our windows and created all the same ones. So we'll look at another version of this in the next clip.